This program is proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Welcome to First Issues, where in this season, entrepreneurs are given the platform to share their stories and showcase their entrepreneurial tenacity with tangible results from perseverance, fortitude, and sheer will through their establishment. With a little over 10 years to the envisioned Botswana Vision 2036, where there's equal opportunities for all and ensured widely spread prosperity through active participation by all members of society, leaving no one behind, our program's new approach could not have come at a better time. The spotlight tonight is on Godiraone Olatotse, who is the epitome of unbridled self-belief and tenacious personal desire for success. An entrepreneur at heart, with almost a decade and a half with his skin in the game, he is the founder and managing director of Skybridge Logistics, a petroleum haulage services company launched in 2018. Skybridge Logistics has a fleet of about 28 trucks, a staff complement of 70, with a depot in Boatle. Before all of this, he was a banker, having worked in various commercial banks in the country, following an acquisition of a Bachelor of Finance degree from the University of Botswana. With that background, he laid for himself a fortified foundation in unquestionable shrewdness in financial and relationship management, a skill worth all of its weight in gold for this perilous path that he chose to track. In his entrepreneurship artillery, Olatotse has two failed undertakings from which he attributes some of the learnings that he arms himself with today to strategize towards his eventual successful entrepreneurial legacy. At the time of pivoting out of his corporate career to pursue entrepreneurship in 2012, Olatotse set up a butchery in Francistown that did not do too well. He took those learnings to open up a restaurant in Gaborone, and that too failed. A few years later, Skybridge Logistics was born. As it goes, fail fast, but remember to always fail forward. And that's what our conversation tonight is about. Taking failure as an opportunity to learn and move forward, but not as an excuse to quit, because that big break might just be around the corner. We have this conversation with Godiraone Olatotse, first focusing on his experiences as an entrepreneur. You were a banker for the longest time before you decided to just quit cold turkey and pursue this. What was your reason for that?
Growth. And maybe to start off, thank you so much for making time to come and see me. And over the years, I've learned quite a number of painful lessons. I've got scars. My first business was in 2012. I've got two failed businesses to show for my sins, and I started Skybridge Logistics in 2018. Initially, at the core of it, when I formed it, the idea was to address a logistical challenge that I was facing with one of the companies that I founded in 2014, a company called Skybridge Capital, which is into fuel resale and fuel distribution. At the time, I had challenges with continuity of supply, where some of my sites or some of my customers would run out of product because the transporters that I was using at the time would have transportation or logistical challenges, breakdowns on the way. That challenge for me presented an opportunity where I wanted to participate a lot more in the value chain, to have more firm control.
You talk about having some failed undertakings and projects that you had wanted to pursue, and with that came some scars, and you believe that you've paid your dues. But let us understand what those scars are and what they taught you about entrepreneurship.
The two businesses that I was involved in were retail businesses. I learned that retail is detail. You can't do it when you are not there. You can't run it successfully when you don't have your finger on the pulse. But most importantly, you need to understand fully the variables that are involved in your business. And I must say, I think those painful lessons for me have given me more than enough wisdom to understand and appreciate that every business has moving parts. So once you get a firm handle of the moving parts, that means your business will run steadier and smoothly.
As an entrepreneur, what is the one thing that you believe, had you done differently, you would have propelled yourself to a much greater height than where you are today?
I believe a lot in timing. I believe I'm a product of the learning experiences that I've had to go through, and everything happened at the time when it was meant to happen. So I couldn't have rushed anything. I believe I developed to a great extent through my learning experiences, through my exposure. I believe a lot in learning to walk before you run, or avoiding to run so fast that one falls on their own weight. You only get better at what you do because time has prepared you for the challenges and the opportunities that come your way. We, as a business, I must say, there has been a lot of challenges that we've had to deal with. So I've been able to sustain those challenges because over time, I got thicker skin.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jana o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho.
Senthe.
Ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus. So se tlhokanyela ke o mangwa ga go mo tirisong le reference number e bon dinomoro tse diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke mo ntse samplele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thare. Mpare mo tiki. Na ke ra go motho ya la mamarapedi. O tola skontere hela. O bua go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
Thank you so much for staying with First Issues. We continue our conversation with Godiraone Olatotse, where now we focus our attention on his entrepreneurial undertaking, Skybridge Logistics, where he is the managing director. Earlier we were talking about some challenges that you have had to go through, and you're only able to productively manage them because of time. Do you care to share what some of those challenges are within Skybridge Logistics?
We had a lot of challenges, I think, in our formative years when we were loading out of Walvis Bay in Namibia. We had, I think at the time, the main challenge then was I was learning the industry. Mm-hmm. So in learning the industry, you depend on drivers that know the industry a lot more than you do. And that learning process or that learning exercise was quite painful because I realized maybe a year or two later that we were being taken advantage of as a business. And I'm happy to share this so that those that come and know that these are the pitfalls that are there in the fuel transportation business. At one point, I did an audit and assessment of our operations, and I got to find that there was systematic fuel siphoning from our tankers en route. I think this systematic fuel siphoning spent over 5 months, and it was unnoticed for us at the time, close to 1 million pula that we lost as a business. Now, those painful learning experiences made it extremely urgent for me as an entrepreneur or as a promoter to automate as much of our operations as possible so that we can cut the bleeding, right? We right away implemented a system where all our units were fitted with compartment tracking, where we were able to see which compartment is active, which compartment is being opened. we also invested heavily in tracking systems and also in 360 cameras. For us, this was a way of addressing the problems that we came across then. But the other side of it, it created a value add or a value differentiator for us amongst our peers, where now for us it's a standard offering where we say, when you engage us as Skybridge Logistics, our units come standard with this extra added layers of security or value add features.
Let us then talk about, the results of that starting to show. What is it that you're most proud of within this journey of entrepreneurship?
I am proud that I've been able to build Skybridge Logistics to the company that it is currently. We've got a fleet of 28 units on the road. I've diversified my contract base. And this shows in the confidence, the level of confidence that our bankers have in us as a business. We are a very well-run, well-diversified business that is bankable and that is fundable. I'm quite proud that I've been able to put together a team that is very functional, that works extremely well together. It's quite hard, I think, to have the skill sets that are required for a successful logistics company and have the different characters to be able to work together and have a team that can fully function on their own, be able to take the initiatives and be able to deliver at high level consistently. I am also proud of the fact that in terms of employment creation, I have been able to play a part in the country's drive for employment creation. We currently have a workforce of about 70 full-time employees as Skybridge Logistics. This is direct employment. And most importantly, I think beyond that, I'm proud to say that currently Skybridge Logistics has a women driver complement of 7. And that's a big number. Our best performing driver is actually a woman. So yeah, I'm proud to have opened doors to so many potential employees that we've taken up and we've retained.
So what are your plans for the future of Skybridge Logistics? Do you have any medium to long-term plans for it?
Yes, we've got exciting plans. We have recently adopted a strategy that has been endorsed and approved by the board. The expectation is before the close of the year is for us to have Skybridge Logistics to eventually be sitting on the main board of the BSE. We are quite optimistic that we will be a pioneering or be the first fuel transporter, fully citizen-owned, to make it to the BSE. That is the immediate plan. I must emphasize that it's not a paper filling exercise. We want to get there so that we can build capacity. We want to build capacity to participate in the opportunities that are there in the country meaningfully. We want to get there so that we can build our brand, so that our brand can be synonymous with fuel transportation in Botswana. We want to get there so that we can be a brand that is known for beating the path, is a brand that can be seen as reputable. We can be a brand that can be seen as sustainable. So we hope that once we are fully on the BSE, now we would have access to cheaper forms of funding. We will be able to raise capital as and when there is need. And also, I think lastly, we hope once we are there, we can look beyond the Botswana borders. The one thing that we don't maybe do enough of as local entrepreneurs is to say, if we can do it here, we can do it elsewhere. We know a lot of companies that come into Botswana, maybe to start, who don't even have a presence in where the promoters come from. So I'm hoping we can get this first leg of making it to the BSE out of the way. Once we're there, now we should look beyond the borders.
tla bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama ka re maletse ana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi FNB re diretse tiro motlhofo mma kwa go marekisetsong a e leng gore a nang le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus se se tlhokanyela ke umang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse di dirisiwang go rulagatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke motho sa mpolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone ke utlwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB.
Dona. Nyawa yena ke ra sathare. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho ya la mamrapedi. Go tola skontere hela. O bua go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
Welcome to First Issues. On this segment of the program, we speak to some experts or service providers who may have some solutions to problems or challenges that entrepreneurs may have. For example, you may be an entrepreneur in the supplier space and looking to draw up a contract for your terms of service and what your client can expect on your end. But you don't know how to draw up a contract. You don't even know what it is supposed to contain, and that different services and clients might actually need different types of contracts. So what do? This is where the experts come in, where today we speak to attorney at law Samuel Plaatjie about contracts to help you avoid future potential problems simply because you did not have one in place. Sam, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk about contracts. Let's understand that first. What is a contract?
Contract is just an agreement that creates obligations between one or more two people. For example, you need to lease my house. I need to lease my house. You're going to pay me rent. In exchange, I'm going to give you a dwelling on a monthly basis. So we agree. We form a contract.
Let us expound further on that. In whatever industry, whether service, whether product-based, whatever it is, what does a contract have to entail?
A contract has to entail an offer first and an acceptance. Once there's an offer that is acceptance, you have a meeting of the minds, consensus, if I may say so, then you have a contract. Now, I'll just hasten to add, it needn't be in writing for it to be a contract. A verbal contract is a contract as good as any, but usually you want to reduce it to writing so that there is proof. Your obligations are properly captured.
Let us understand that you said there has to be an offer and an acceptance. For the lay person, that may sound a bit too legal. Maybe you can clarify what that means. What is an offer in this case and what is an acceptance?
Let me try to give a simple example. You have a car dealership selling cars. You walk by, you want that car. You make an offer. I'm offering to buy this car off of you for 10,000 pula. Then the dealer says, I accept your offer to buy the car at 10,000 pula. The buyer offered to buy the car. The dealer accepted that offer. Now, they are aligned. They agreed. This car will go to you, I'll get 10,000 pula. That's an offer, that's an acceptance. And the moment they are aligned or they are of one mind is when you have consensus.
Sometimes in legal terms or in these contractual languages, we hear that there's been a breach of contract. What does that mean?
A breach simply means one party didn't fulfill their obligation or someone didn't fulfill their obligation. Let's stick to the car sale offer. Let's add a twist. This time I'm offering to buy the car for 10,000 pula, but I'd like to pay my 10,000 pula in 2 installments. I pay 5,000 now, I get my car, then I'll pay the 10,000 end of month when we're all paid. Come end of month, I don't pay the balance of the 5,000 pula. That's a breach in that my obligation, my only remaining obligation was to pay 5,000 pula at the end. But now we have a situation where I haven't honored that. That's breach. I've breached a term of the agreement that I should pay.
So then what are the consequences of breaching a contract or being in breach of a contract, and who sets those consequences?
In terms of law, there are what we call them remedies, well, consequences first. The innocent party can insist to enforce the contract and compel you to pay that 5,000, typically through court process. He can equally say, I'm cancelling, bring back my car, here's your 5, I'll go sell to someone else. Those are just some of the remedies. Now, let's for a moment assume now that the car was bought, but you find out that there's a defect that was hidden. The script is flipped. This time is the dealer that is in breach. And you know that's something that happens quite common than we want to let on. Equally as the buyer, you have a right to say, I'm cancelling the contract, I want my money back. I'm suing for the value of repairs to get the car to standard because I feel it can be fixed. Or I can sue for a reduction in the purchase price to say that it's 10,000 pula, but I need 2 to get it to standard in respect of that defect that you hid from me.
Our conversation really is to seek solutions for entrepreneurs. So one of the solutions is drawing up contracts, right? So I want you, as a matter of reiteration, to state why it is important an entrepreneur would need to have a contract in place.
Yes. As an entrepreneur, you are starting up a business, you are taking a chance, you are taking a risk. You need to mitigate that risk by ensuring that things that you can control, compliance, proper contracts, you control them, so that the only real risk remaining is your operations or the service you are offering. So it's advisable as an entrepreneur, before you get into a space, you are setting up a boutique, you rent space from a mall. It's the perfect space, it's in the right corner. You need to also know that the lease that you are signing protects you. Most complexes, or some complexes, will have what you call a no-break lease. They'll say, we're giving you a 3-year contract and you have to be there for 3 years. You're an entrepreneur, 6 months down the line you can't keep up, but you're on the hook for the remainder of 2 years and however many months. So you need to protect yourself. You need to ensure that there's a contract there that protects you. You need to have your legal representative look at it for you. There is always risk everywhere, but contracts mitigate, contracts protect.
This program was proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.